like, subscribe, and comment for the YouTube algorithm. Let's have a look at the specialization and the skills for the mage. The specialization, we have a phlegmatic caster, which gives us time warp. Time warp allows us to get around the map very quickly. In the first mastery in time warp, we have experienced battle mage, 40% crit strike damage at level 40. Second row doesn't really synergize with anything in our build. We don't need the mana regen. You can take it if you want, but you don't need it. Third row, life shaver. Whenever you gain life from life leech, life on hit and life on kill, you gain the same amount of mana, which clears up a slot for from mana leech on the bracers, so you can pick something like projectile speed or more crit strike damage or anything else that would otherwise synergize with our build. For the fourth row, we have 60% increased remnant damage. Fifth row, we have 25% overdrive chance. It doesn't really do much for our build, but it's still something. On the sixth row, we have a temporary clones cannot be targeted or hit anymore. The reason why I chose this over mocking clones, which taunts the mobs, is because it was actually pretty annoying that the mobs was taunted by the clones and started running towards it instead of towards me. It was actually pretty annoying. So I chose this one so it doesn't get hit. And then the seventh row, we have 10% Ancestral strike chance from Ancestral command. It's just more damage. And the last row, we have Clone Wars. Whenever you cast a skill, primary or secondary, temporal clones cast a remnant of arcane missiles in target direction. It's just a little bit more damage. If you feel like you can survive and you can take the 50% max life multiplier hit, then you can go for this one, Glacier Cannon, for 50% attack speed. It increases your damage a lot, but it also takes a lot of survivability away. For Arcane Missiles, we have in the first mastery rows, Incomplete Missiles. Arcane Missiles has a minus 35% cooldown time. It just allows you to cast more Arcane Missiles. Second row, we have Remnant's Wingman. 80% chance to also cast 2 Remnants of Arcane Missiles. Third row, and the most important row, Evolve and Overcome. Arcane Missile has a pierce chance, a fork chance, and a rebound chance equal to the highest among these stats. On my gear, I have 100% rebound chance, which allows me to have 100% pierce chance, 100% fork chance, and 100% rebound chance on Arcane Missiles, which is insane. On the fourth row, you have Arcane Phalanx. Additional Arcane Missiles are now cast in a line and move towards target area. This allows your remnants of Arcane Missiles to focus the target you're trying to hit. So when you get into an elite and you have to focus it down quickly, then that helps. On the fifth row, you have Arcane Sovereign. Arcane Missile can no longer have additional projectiles. Arcane Missiles deals 55% increased damage for every additional projectile you can throw. This goes really well hand in hand with Ethereal Cloning Pads, which gives you additional projectiles. For the secondary skill, we have Chronopuncture. The only reason why we're actually using Chronopuncture at the moment is because of Chrono Speed in the second row and Superior Chrono Upgrade in the fifth row. This allows you to get 25 stacks of Chrono Speed, which is 50% attack speed, which just allows you to cast more Arcane Missiles. You can also dabble with some of the other masteries to try and improve the damage overall for Chronopuncture. I have a Puncturing Nightmare on the third row, which gives you 33% chance to trigger a remnant of Chronopuncture. Chronopuncture itself doesn't really do all that much damage, but if you do a remnant of Chronopuncture, it deals 5,000% increased damage on Chronopuncture. It feels decent, but the main thing in this build is Arcane Missiles, and we just want more attack speed really. For the Ancestral Legacy tree, we have Burning Shadow in the first row. Burning Shadow is really important to increase your damage a lot when you fight a lot of elites, just to get past them really quickly. 50% raw damage and 100% critical strike damage for the next 12 seconds. And then the second one is Vengeful Hero, 10% raw damage and 10% armor penetration. The 10% armor doesn't really matter too much on our build, but the damage is great. As for the attributes, we have 10 points in free, mainly for the 10% critical strike chance. We have 30 points in determination, mainly because of the max life, just to take a few more hits. And then the last point, which is you have 20% damage to elites for every elite within 10 yards radius. It just allows you to remove the elites way quicker. And then the last 33 points is in dexterity. The last 8 points doesn't really matter too much. The most important part is up to 25 points, which gives you 50% projectile speed overall. And then of course you can put the last 8 points in if you want, just to get your primary slot to also have a chance to slow enemies. It doesn't really matter too much. It doesn't do too much. You can put it into something else if you want. But yeah, at least have 10 points in free, 30 points in determination, and then 25 points in dexterity. Then you can use the last 8 points for whatever you want. For the last part of this video, let's take a look on items, legendaries, staffs, and stats. Let's start out with the legendaries. I feel like Ethereal Cloning Pads is the only important legendary for this build. It's not needed, but it's important for the damage boost. It's just insane. Additional projectiles on legendary effects. So when you go into Arcane Missiles, on the last mastery, you have Arcane Sovereign. Arcane Missile can no longer have additional projectiles. Arcane Missile deals 55% increased damage for every additional projectile you can throw. That just allows me on level 40 item plus 7 reinforcement to have a 3.1 additional projectile, which is calculated into 170% damage multiplier. If you get it to like plus 9 or plus 10 reinforcement, you'll have above 4 additional projectiles, which is above 220% damage multiplier. That's just insane for one item alone. So this is the only item, the only legendary I really recommend for this build. But I'm sure you can get other legendaries that also increase your survivability or damage by quite a lot. This is just the one I found that it just works really well with the build. Other than that, I have a Vitalizing Vital Helm of Vitality, which is just max life multiplier. It's just nice to have. It's not needed. It's just nice to have. It just allows you to survive some more hits. Other than that, I have full epic items on this build, but you can get by with rare items. The only reason why I don't really recommend people building around rare items is because it is super expensive to add epic stats to all the items. So if you can get epic items before you start crafting, or just before you start fine-tuning each item, then that is definitely recommended. But if you really want to, you can go full on rare items and fine-tune those, and I'm sure you can still do Wrath 10 with this build. But if you can get epic items first, it definitely helps out with the materials and gold later on. Other than that, I think there's actually a bracer. I can't remember the name, but there is a legendary bracer which gives you crit strike chance when enemies are above 90% health. That one is also a pretty good damage boost, but yeah, again, not needed. Let's have a look on staffs. I have chosen Big Furry Staff, and once you get your Big Furry Staff to 42k victims, it evolves into the primordial version, which is just a lot of raw damage. When you look on our raw damage, it's just pretty damn high. Almost 6k to 35k raw damage, which translates into over 60k average skill damage. It's just a lot of damage. You can still increase it. You can still increase the average skill damage by, if you really want to, if you fine tune the different skills on items, or different stats that is. And as you can see, I can still get 5 more levels on the staff. So you can get even more damage than I have right now, easily. Let's have a look on the stats as the last part. The most important stats that you'll need is, I've chosen rebound. Rebound as the most important stat, and the reason why that is the most important stat is because of Evolve and Overcome. Arcane Missile has a pierce chance, fork chance, and rebound chance equal to the highest among these. You can choose any of these stats, pierce chance, fork chance, or rebound. I just chose rebound because I knew it was easiest to get to 100%. You can get rebound on helmet, cloak, and belt, and rings. You just need to have them above level 25 item level, I believe it is, and then you can start rolling for rebound chance. Once you have rebound chance to 100%, you'll also have 100% pierce chance and fork chance, which just makes Arcane Missile insane. The other important stats to have is life leech, for example. When you have life leech and you have, where is it? Under time warp, 3rd mastery, life shaper. Whenever you gain life from life leech, life on hit or life on kill, you gain the same amount of mana, which just allows you to skip a stat called mana leech on braces, for example, because you don't really need it. You'll get the mana leech from life leech and that mastery. It just allows you to pick something else like projectile speed, for example, or crit strike damage. Besides that, I feel like you need max life is pretty important to stay alive. And then I have chosen a lot of attack speed. I have a 60% attack speed on this build, and I also get some from Current Puncture, as I explained earlier. And then I have a raw damage. I have a lot of crit strike chance. I have a lot of crit damage, a crit strike damage. I also have a lot of elite damage reduction. They've recently fixed elite damage reduction in a patch, which just, when you pick a lot of elite damage reduction, you don't take any damage from elites. It just allows you to survive Wrath 10 easily. Because as long as you have life leech and do as much damage as we do on this build, if you can just take one hit from all mobs, then you won't ever die as long as you're doing damage, because every arcane missile you do, which hits an enemy, life leech enough health to actually just fill your entire health bar every damn time it hits anything. So as long as you can survive one hit, you're golden. Other than that, I don't really feel like there's any other important stats. Maybe movement speed. I've chosen movement speed on boots and cloak. Yeah, just to increase the clearing speed on each floor. It's not something I would recommend you to take right away before you feel like you're fine-tuning your build. In the beginning, it's more important to go for elite damage reduction, rebound chance, life leech, crit strike chance, crit strike damage, and attack speed. But when you start fine-tuning, then definitely getting some movement speed will increase your clear speed. That's for sure. I almost forgot. Let's go over Reaper stat, Mastery stat, and Attribute stat, and then I'll also just quickly show each item just so you can see how many reinforcement levels and what stat points I have on each item. So for the Reaper stat, I have Asterius Slorm Reaper, which is because I'm using Big Fury Primero Staff, and that is made by Asterius. So I have the Asterius Slorm Reaper on all items, which gives plus 55 for my staff. And then I have plus 2 to Arcane Missiles Mastery on all items as well. And I have Dexterity on 8 items. And then Determination on 3 items. I'll just quickly run over the items just so you can see it. If you have any questions about the build in the video, drop a comment or catch me live on twitch.tv/ubinax. Like, subscribe, and comment for the YouTube algorithm.